My name's Sean Johnson, and I was raised by my mom and dad, and my mom was a Christian, and towards the end of my elementary school age, we moved to a different house in town and lived in a neighborhood at that point where we had been living in the country, and started hanging out with some guys there in the neighborhood that were a little bit older than me. And I think just where we were in our lives at that point, my mom kind of stopped forcing me to go to church, and so one Sunday and the next went by, and so there was probably a year there where I was pretty inconsistent in church altogether. And then our church at that time, I got a new youth pastor, and I started getting involved there in middle school in the youth group on Wednesday nights. And God really just put in my life a group of older guys that just took me under their wing and mentored me, and showed me what it looked like to be a Christian. And God just put a couple of pieces of the puzzle together at that point. There was a Bible study that was starting at the middle school, and again started hanging out with this group of guys. Started learning how to play guitar, and so he kind of started shaping the story of being involved in worship. And it was one night in my bedroom that I realized that my mom's salvation was not my own, and that having a relationship with God was what was required, and accepted Christ that night in my room on my own. And Mandy and I were living in Monroe, Georgia for about 3 years after we finished college and started our careers. And really at the same time, we just started feeling the Lord lead us to come back home. And so we just started praying, God, if this is truly your will, if this is something that you want us to do, then we're going to have to find 2 jobs in the education field, and we're going to have to sell a house here, and we're going to have to find one pretty quickly in Bainbridge. And we prayed that consistently for several months, and sure enough, the Lord opened up 2 jobs here in Bainbridge in the school system. We were able to sell our house in Monroe and close the next day on a house here in Bainbridge. And so it just was clear to us that this was truly where God wanted us. Obviously, when we found out we were going to be moving here, first priority was to find a church that we could get involved in. Really just immediately attracted to what Grace had. We loved the teaching that John did, and his style, and just how much he reached out to visitors, and really everybody that we encountered when we visited was just so warm and inviting, and you felt immediately at home. And just how genuine everybody was in the worship and the services and teaching, and again prayed about what God would have us do, and felt like Grace was the place that God wanted us to be.